Hi everyone, hi Mom. Finally did it. I did the last journal that I'll be able to do before I leave for holidays. This one is called Defining Moments, and it's a Seneca Pond journaling kit. I've used a lot of the printables that come with it, but not all of them. All the pages, yes, but there are other things that I didn't print out. So it's a good size kit. I did something different with the closure this time. I don't normally do this kind of thing, but I actually really loved how feminine it made it look. I did some stitching and layering and stenciling. This is done with the heavy gel medium and paint from Prima, and some buttons, corners from Butterbee Scraps. I did some painting on the edges. So this is done with a file folder and cut down to size, and I used the actual, you know how file folders have like those three sort of scored edges, so that's what I used to create a spine for it. And I reinforced the inside of the spine with some Tyvek, which is the same stuff that they use in security envelopes. So for my Canadian friends, if you want to buy it in like an envelope, you can go to Staples. They carry it there. What else? Oh, I did some mica chips. It's decoupaged. And on the top, on the outside, there's cardstock and then the print. Same as on the back, cardstock and the print. And then on the inside, so all you do is you just squeeze the book and slide this off. So it's not that difficult. I just thought it was really pretty like that. And then on the inside, I used the extra thick cardstock from Blue Fern Studio. And then more cardstock on the inner spine. So it's pretty sturdy, but it's still flexible. Okay, so here we go. Supplemented it with some tea stained paper, and this time I did some stenciling. So I added, of course, I think this is another signature of mine, is I like doing the little notepads in there, as well as, you know, the frame. So we've got some, this is part of her kit, and they come so that, like, there's two images, and you fold them in half and then glue them together. And I use Yes Paste, and that makes it pretty sturdy. This is just out of 26-pound paper. So when you glue them together with really thin, put it on really, really thin, you get a nice tag. Blue Fern. This is also Blue Fern. It's a cut-off, and I just made them into little tags. And then I actually added one of my little envelopes, and it does have a little card in it, which is a cut-off from one of the papers done on cardstock. And added the butterfly. Now the butterfly's done with gelatos and paint, I think. And then this is done with the chunky gold embossing enamel. I always have difficulty putting things back because it's upside down to me. It looks right to you. Add a little stickles on there as well. I did some trim here, and so you can see I've done some stenciling. This is one of the background pages that you get. She gives you several different versions, so that's kind of nice. Library pocket that I decoupaged a napkin onto, added some trim, and then another Blue Fern tag, big tag. I didn't actually count how many I have, but there's quite a few pages. I decoupaged a napkin onto this doily that I had already tea stained, and I used my dies, my circle dies, to cut it out and then use decoupage. And I also embossed the edges, front and back, with embossing powder from Lindy's. Journal card that, you know, pick those up at the dollar store, just ink them. And again, another piece of ephemera from Blue Fern. And the belly band I created myself, but I used her paper to clip on there. And then I got this inspiration of doing the envelopes like this from Denise, who is Tattered Dreams on Etsy. She's got some great stuff for journaling as well, but she also makes journals, and Practice Makes Pretty is her YouTube channel. And then I just added some trim there. This was a tea stain envelope, and it was too big for what I wanted, so I cut it down and just made a big journaling stick with it. This is also a background paper that she includes the print on there. Added one of my glassine bags. There's nothing in it, but you can, it's got 2 pockets. And I did paint and wax and did a bunch of stuff on it. These little things come in her kit. There's a whole sheet of them, of different kinds. And then I just stuck a little tag in there. And then she includes one of the cards. Now, she doesn't, or sorry, the envelope, petal envelope. Doesn't have the cards, but all I did was print out her background paper on cardstock, and then I just cut them to 3x3. So it's not a difficult thing to do. And then again, another glassine bag, which I put a bird napkin on. And then inside, I believe, is another one of her tags. Yeah. Sorry, might not be centered there. I did a little flip here, and it's got a little tuck spot. These are from Denise's store. And then I just added another little tag from the Blue Fern collection. These come in the kit. This doesn't, but I don't even know where I got that. And then I have some postcards that I'm still using up. And I added the glassine bag with a full napkin sort of grunged over there. And then it is loaded with some writing paper, note paper. But I did it so that you wouldn't lose your writing space, so it's attached as a flip. And then the double rip pocket. This time I embossed the edge with some embossing powder, and then added some ephemera from Blue Fern. And the butterfly is also a decoupage napkin. So I took a piece of manila basil paper, I think it is, and I decoupaged the whole napkin on there. Dried it really well, cut out a bunch of butterflies and birds and all that kind of stuff, and then I ran them through. These ones are the Tim Holtz Duo Butterfly, I believe is the name of it, and it comes with the embossing folder, so you can actually get texture on your butterfly. And then this was one of the pages I just shrunk down, and then there's a little butterfly that also has the napkin on it. I don't know if you could see that. Oops, sorry. And a napkin bird. That's also a Tim Holtz. This is a card that's in my store. And again, another doll. And this is somebody told me it's a Rolodex card. So this I did gelatos on it and then ran it through an embossing folder and then just added, I think this is Tim Holtz paper, that I made into a tag. Another butterfly, that's the other butterfly of the Duo Butterfly. Added my dragonfly, again I did paint and gelatos, and then that's the third tag in, I think there's 3 in total. And then another journaling card from Blue Fern. Another bag, glassine bag that I put a napkin on, trim, and then these are a new die that I got from Michael's, and they cut 3 different kind of birds. And actually, do I have them right here? I can just show you. Yeah, I do. So there's that one and the flying one, flying bird. And I had a piece of cardstock that I didn't like the white, so I went over it with that collage stuff from Tim Holtz that ages. It's like kind of dark, and so it took the white away. Well, then I didn't like the paper, so I just cut out a bunch of birds and stuff, and they kind of turned out cute. And then I've just got some leftover tea stain paper. And another little tag. Another envelope with some trim that I sprayed with a little bit of Lindy's, and then this was left over actually from Vintage Moss, came over yesterday, and so she played in my craft room, and she's finishing up a journal, and that was paper that I gave her, and it was just a cut-off, so she's using a lot of my stuff, but she also designs her own, so I can't wait for you guys to see her stuff. She needs to get crack-a-lackin'. Just added a little, this is a Michael's butterfly, and it came with a jewel, and I just ripped the jewels off them and added stickles to make them less dimensional. And there's another doily that I put a napkin on. And this was that fly leaf that I had taken out of a book that I had embossed, and yeah, I just painted the flap of it. Oh, another little envelope out of vellum, and I added another cut-off of her cards in there. And another tag, and then some more journaling. Tons of paper I've got left over from a class I taught, so I'm turning it into just journaling. Another little tag here, and another flip, and I left a plain tag in the back. There's nothing on that one. Added the little cutout there, and another belly band that I created using her background paper. And there's the other glassine bag that also flips like the other one does. And this is a tag that I stamped, well, I tea stain stamped and then sprayed with Bodacious Blush from Lindy's. This again is the Rolodex card, but I did it a little differently. So if you guys want to, if you've got gelatos and you want to play, take some manila, spray it, pre-spray it with a bit of water, add your gelatos, spray it again lightly, and then rub your finger all over and dry it really well. Then just take a dry paper towel and rub off. You're going to get little pill, so just rub that off. And then you can go over the top of it if it's too like cutesy and you want to vintage it up, just go over it with Vintage Photo. And that's how I got that look. And then another butterfly that's covered in a napkin. And again, just an index card that I ran through an embossing folder and inked up with, what is it, T something, Tim Holtz, I don't remember the name of it. And another card there. And that's it, I believe, with the little notepad there. And that's it. That's the book. So in order to get this back on, you have to go from the bottom because it'll catch up on the top there. But squeeze the corners together just to get it started. And then get it on the bottom and just pull it up. And that's it. That's the book. I like the way this one turned out. It's feminine. I like the colors, the corals in it. So I'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment. And like I said before, I'll be releasing some pre-recorded tutorials while I'm on holidays. So hopefully you'll enjoy those. But we'll talk when I get back. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.